So today we're going to be building a budget gaming setup from scratch. It's going to cost around $1,000 and that includes the cost of the PC. This little guy kicks ass in 1080p, achieving over 60 FPS and high settings for most games. Make sure to check out the full video linked below if you guys want to see the actual gameplay. I'm going to go over all the parts and tell you guys why I picked them, and I'm going to go over the setup process, including cable management, in case you guys want to pick up all the parts and build yourself this exact same setup. Now, if this first episode does really great, I will continue the series on the channel, and that is up to you guys, of course. Next episode, maybe I can do something a little cheaper, maybe a $500 setup, and yes, that is possible. Or I could do maybe an all-white themed setup or even a laptop-based setup. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and that is up to you guys to vote in the comment section. But yeah, with that said, welcome to my new series, Setups from Scratch. So this setup is perfect for anyone that's on a tight budget but wants to build themselves a nice, clean, minimalistic gaming setup without any compromises. You can't have a great setup without a foundation. A solid desk is the staple of any great setup, and like most desks, they're from IKEA. This is the extremely popular Lindemann tabletop combo. They come in different colors and sizes, but for this setup, I picked up the black and brown option to fit the color scheme, and I went with the 47-inch option to make sure it's long enough to fit everything on top comfortably, including the PC. I wanted a monitor that wouldn't take up too much space on the desk, but also had to make sure it had the specs I was looking for. 144 Hz refresh rate, 3 millisecond response time on a curved VA panel. It's built pretty well, but there are some things I don't like about it, like the color accuracy for one. It's not meant for color sensitive work, only gaming. Also, it doesn't have any height adjustability. You can only tilt the screen, so if you're too tall and the monitor is too low, you can always add a riser underneath for cheap. For peripherals, I didn't want to cheap out, so I went with a brand that I personally love and use at home with my own setup. I picked up the Corsair K70 Lux for $50. It's a full-size mechanical keyboard with Cherry MX red switches and a detachable wrist rest. I love the dedicated multimedia buttons near the top, along with the scroll wheel for the volume. The K70 has always been one of my favorite gaming keyboards to date, and it fits in the budget. The mouse I'm using is the new Corsair Harpoon, which is wireless via Bluetooth or the provided dongle. However, you can make it wired by connecting the cable. I did notice a slight delay in responsiveness using the mouse wirelessly, so if you're playing FPS or RTS games where timing is everything, then I do recommend playing wired. The wireless option is great in case you need a mouse on the go. It has a textured scroll wheel with a DPI button up top, and the small compact size and the side grips makes it really easy to lift and move around. I do have pretty large hands, so this mouse is kind of small for me. As you guys can see, I can pretty much cover it with my entire hand, but for some reason, it didn't really bother me that much. I kind of got used to it after a while. Now, if you do have really large hands and you just can't use small mice, then I do suggest picking up something bigger. I recommend checking out the Logitech G403 or the SteelSeries Rival 310, which I will link below. Now, since everything is pretty much RGB at this point, I decided to stick with the theme and throw in an RGB mouse pad. I went with the Corsair Polaris, that way I can control all the lighting in one place using the iCUE software, and it helps spice up the setup. Now for audio, I did throw in a set of speakers as well as a gaming headset. The Logitech Z200 speakers are great for watching videos or listening to music, and the HyperX Cloud Stingers are great for gaming. The speakers not only look cool, but they sound surprisingly good for only $23. It packs a nice punch in the low end, and the highs are really clear and crisp. I was really surprised at the sound quality of these speakers for the price. The headset is also great. Built-in microphone, comfortable memory foam cushions, and it's compatible with Xbox One, PS4 Pro, and the Nintendo Switch. I have it hanging on the Anker headphone hanger, which costs only $12, and it can support up to 2 headphones. And finally, I added an RGB strip behind the setup to complete the look. It comes with a remote to control the lighting, and since the setup doesn't have any storage space, I installed a small pencil drawer underneath to store some items like the remote for RGB strips, cable for the mouse, and anything else that I might need. So that is pretty much everything on the surface, but what completes a setup is cable management and organization. You can't just leave cables laying around, can you? You're probably watching this video with bad cable management, aren't you? So the first thing I did was drill a hole above my keyboard to route the wire underneath. Of course, this is optional and it's not required if you do not want to make a hole in your desk. but personally, I prefer a cleaner surface with less cables. A lot of you guys already know that. In order to hide the cable from the mouse pad, I rotated it sideways and ran the wire underneath the keyboard and into the hole that I drilled in the desk. You can do the same thing for your mouse if it's wired, just make sure to leave enough slack. From there, I used cable clips to keep the wires from hanging down, and I routed them neatly towards the back into these. These are channel raceways, and what's so great about these individual ones instead of the long one is that you can create space between them to allow cables to pass through and then tuck them away from the opposite end. I only have one cable going down and plugging into the wall outlet, so the rest of the cables are plugged into a power strip I picked up from Amazon, and I attached this underneath the desk using some 3M tape. It's really important to use the right tape, otherwise it will fall off after a few days. You want something that is heavy duty to make sure it sticks permanently. Using Velcro straps helps keep the wires behind the PC grouped up nicely, and it helps keep other cables organized as well. After all the cable management, I was able to transform this into this. The goal was to build a minimalistic gaming setup without breaking the bank, and I think I accomplished that. But do let me know what you guys think about this setup. Feel free to leave any criticism or feedback down below, and let me know what I should build for the next episode if I were to continue. I'm thinking about doing a beautiful all white minimalistic setup, but let me know give me some ideas in the comment section, guys. I'll drop a link to all the parts used in the setup as well down below, and if you guys want me to continue the series, consider dropping a like, and if you didn't, that's cool too. Feel free to drop a dislike and give me your feedback and your honest criticism as well. Thanks again for watching, guys. I love your faces, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.